back. Welcome, y'all. This is part 2 of
Everybody Wants to Be an Entrepreneur Until.
Until. So we got some more untils. We want to go through some lists and just love on y'all a little bit with some more information.
Yes, but y'all, before we get started, we need you to do us a favor.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom. What do we need them to do?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel, y'all. And how can you consume Eagle Talk? You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen on any podcast platform, and you can connect with us regularly in our private Facebook group, Eagle Talk with Team Lewis. And honestly, this is a labor of love. Corey and I we have been young and dumb and in love, or in then it turned to, I don't know what you want to call it. What you want to call it? Love. Okay. You better call it love. You better call it love.
I know that's right.
Look, young Corey and call it love, but you better call it love. But we have been struggling entrepreneurs. We have been parents that don't know what's going on. Sometimes we still all those things. So Eagle Talk definitely is a space that we created because we wish we would have had something like this as we were building, and even now as we are building, to know that there are other like-minded people who are just trying to, do all the things but still love Jesus and love they mate and do right by the gifts you've been given. So if that's you, if you know somebody who would benefit from that, go ahead and make sure you hit that share button. Okay.
I would like to pause this episode for a quick second to go back to when you're talking about the Facebook group.
Okay.
Because I saw you made a video today and you was like, I'm kind of disappointed in y'all that are not utilizing the group for what we made the group for.
Yeah.
But you are utilizing the group for what we made the group for. So what am I saying? It's a lot of connections being made. It's a lot of people doing business with each other. And that's why we started the group. So when I saw the video, I was like, that's pretty funny because, unless you watched it, you didn't really get what you was trying to say.
Yeah, but y'all better come on through. But let's check in, Corey Lewis. So you still a little bit under the weather from last week. But we coming on through. What's your check-in? What's been going on with you?
What's my check-in? I'm working, man. It's 2 times a year that I kind of go into I don't really care. I'm not shaving. I'm just working mode, and that's normally spring and fall. And I'm in it right now. We in May. I'm working. A little bit more than 30 days left in the second quarter. I'm not too far behind, but I know that this cold had kind of slowed me down. So I'm kicking it up, and that's about it.
When you gonna be back into shaving?
I got a certain number that I need to hit in June.
Oh, like Jay-Z is with the hair?
Yeah. So as long as I hit that number, I'm good. If not, then just put a rubber band on it.
Well, you finding me anyway, but y'all, I like a clean face. Ladies, put it in the chat. Do you like a clean face?
This is warrior mode for me.
Yeah. You still fine. You so fine.
I appreciate that.
You so fine.
Going back to work.
When that face clean, I can't lick your face like this.
It's all good. And your check-in is?
He had to stop me. So first of all, I'm wearing red lipstick today. So anytime I wear red lipstick, just know that I'm missing my mama. And this is a silly way that I stay close to her because she loved it when I wore red lipstick, like all the time. For the longest, I was afraid.
She'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, she'd be like, ooh, look at that's my pretty baby.
Where you going?
Yep. So anytime I wear red lipstick, I just want to feel close to her. But the same, look, I am enjoying the start of summer. Cameron is on his way to 5th grade next year, so school is out. But I've been getting an itch because it's summer. I feel like I need to go somewhere and do something. And we have some things planned, but it's a little bit later, but I'm having that itch. But I have to literally stop myself, and that is a lesson. People, not just entrepreneurs, just because you can do something doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. So I've been challenging myself to go on vacation at home. So to get in our pool more and to hang out more here and just really enjoy what we have and not necessarily going and racking up a hotel bill. So with that being said, I am really enjoying a new book that I'm listening to on Audible, which is The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins. Y'all know we love to give y'all our book recommendations, but this is something that she said that was a game changer, and I just want to tell y'all about it. So she said that just with having a high five, just a more positive attitude, that we need to stop apologizing and replacing an apology with a thank you. And I'm gonna give you an example. Like, for instance, if let's just say I couldn't make the dinner that you wanted me to make, right? Instead of being like, oh, babe, I'm sorry that I couldn't make that chicken and vegetables, but here are the tacos. Instead of saying I'm sorry, because now that's implying like I feel something, like I did something wrong, something's wrong with me, saying to you, you know what, honey, thanks for being flexible today. I got tacos ready for us. So changing that I'm sorry with a thank you. I have been doing that in my business and just in my personal life. And it just really, a lot of times we carry guilt, and a lot of the things that are the words that come out of our mouth really affect the way we think about ourselves. So I just like that little shift, and I wanted to share that with y'all.
Yeah, well, I think that was great. I'm sitting there thinking you probably pulled that move on me in the last week or two a couple times that I didn't even know.
You ain't know.
But no, so this is part 2 of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur.
Thank you to everyone. We have gotten a lot of feedback already from our first episode. So if you missed part 1, check it out. We dropped some gems and just some transparency about, not just the glitz and glam of entrepreneurship, but just some things like it's all, Skittles and rainbows until this happens. So we are back with part 2 because it's an action-packed episode, and we're going to hop into it. So, baby, what do you think?
Let's talk money.
So
everybody wants to be an entrepreneur until the money, we say the money fluctuates, but I think the money's not consistent.
Yes.
You can have a $50,000 a month and then have a $7,000 a month. And that'll change some things, especially if you're used to living a certain lifestyle, being able to kind of come and go as you want, not be able to have to pick which bills to pay and not to pay. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's the inconsistent flow of money that will really question your decision on should you be in business or not. Yeah,
I know that for a lot of people, that is the reason why folks will not get into entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's like I need to have, that was one of mine. Like I need to have my straight up, know what I can depend on, because in a lot of cases, as an entrepreneur, if you don't work, you don't eat, or you have to have systems in place, or it takes time. And, on average, it depends on the type of business that you have, but on average, there are going to be some months where it's going to take you a while to get started. When it's your own business or you're self-employed, you're going to have to be putting money out before you see the return. And then when you get in that thing, every month is not necessarily the same. And I will say that I do strongly believe that, with the right systems in place and things of that nature, we definitely can make our businesses, and I'm speaking more specifically to mine, more predictable. It's not a wild goose egg toss of, if real estate is going to make me a certain amount of money, because I know that my activities and meaning what I do on a daily basis are going to match what I need. However, deals fall out, deals get pushed back. Sometimes there are people might not be buying your product, or you have a competitor. So there may be times where what you were expecting to come in, it might not come in when you thought it was, or it might not come in at all. And it's all fun and games being an entrepreneur until that starts to happen.
Yeah, I closed a deal last week, and I was talking to somebody in my business, and it was like a $23,000 fee, which is great. But he was like, "Oh man, you doing it? You're killing it." I was like, "What you don't know was the realtor that I got the deal from, I had dripped on her for 6 months.
Yeah.
Just constantly texting or emailing or just following up anything she had in the pipeline, anybody, that needed a quick sale or whatever the case may be. I buy all of my stuff is investment property. So I kind of hit from different angles, and this one was just tenant issues. Mm-hmm. Somebody that had a tenant long term and they didn't feel like rehabbing the property and starting over from a tenant perspective. So I've kind of been capitalizing on that lately, but he didn't really understand. He thought, we had a conversation at a Saturday dinner and we closed on Wednesday. I was like, nah, bro. Yeah, this was a Halloween conversation.
Right. And this might have been a deal that she told you about, and we were expecting it to pop off in January.
Right.
And it, it's basically June.
Yeah.
One thing that I can give, a tip that I can give, and again, we're both in real estate, so a lot of our thinking is around that. But just in general, I don't spend money mentally or actually until the deal has closed. I have seen a lot of people, I'm in real estate mastermind groups. Really, they ain't they like garbage groups on Facebook, but they call themselves mastermind groups, where people are like, oh my God, this deal got pushed, or the survey didn't come back, or my buyer, my seller walked away, and I just bought this, or I just did that. Don't spend the money until you have it, and just be responsible.
Just because you see the HUD of the CD
does not mean there have been deals that have fallen apart at the closing table.
That's right. Get that wire.
You have to make sure that you get it, and being responsible, because I just think about, I was not expecting my mom to pass away. So there was a time I really kind of pulled myself out of production for the first 3 months of the year. And if I was not prepared for if we weren't prepared for our monthly living expenses, that could have been detrimental. So it was either I was going to be showing up, working, grieving, or we were going to have to give up some of the things that we're accustomed to. So just understand that sometimes the money will fluctuate, and we got to wrap our mind around that and be ready.
Let's go right into prioritizing family.
Ooh.
When it comes to entrepreneurship and business, because I thought I did a good job at it, but I guess I didn't in certain areas.
Oh, you're learning. We both are learning.
Yeah, but I think by Corey working with me, that we have more bonding time, or father-son time, as opposed to when my youngest son comes home from school and he gets in the pool, or he's reading a book by himself, and you look up, it's time for him to eat and go to bed. So I think about a week or two ago, you mentioned that he wished I would spend more time with him. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't, but
sometimes we could just get caught up in the minutia of what we're doing.
Exactly.
And parallel. So y'all don't know Corey, for those of you who don't know, husband Corey, we also have a son, Corey, who's 22 years old. Yeah. Who works with Corey in the business. So as he's stating, they're together a lot of times. Yeah. And then we have a son, Cameron, who is elementary age. So I think what you're saying is that sometimes we can just be so caught up, and because we're around or working in parallel, we're not noticing we substitute that for quality time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and it didn't really work for me 2 days ago, because he kind of pimps me a little bit, like how he got me for the $80 for the books. But it was for books, right? It wasn't for a video game or something like that. But we've been playing golf. We've been just, a little bit more father-son time. And I've been very intentional in letting him know that, when you get out of school, we're going to be doing X, or whether it's ice cream or whatever it is. So just stuff like that. I think you might want to go on the vacation route, or
well, I'm just thinking I want to add to that prioritizing, because the thing that I noticed, and we're speaking in terms of entrepreneurship, but I think it happens just in general, is that a lot of times as people, when we work for ourselves, it's like, oh, but I got to do this. Like sometimes everything seems so urgent, right? Like I have to work on this right now. I have to, yes, 1 second, kiddo, but I need to do this. And there are definitely times where parts of your business need your attention. But when you are results oriented and hands on in what you are building, I think sometimes it becomes muddy in terms of what needs our attention right now, or what we want to do right now. And Corey and I both, we love what we do. We love our kids, but sometimes, kids can entertain themselves, or even us. We have to be careful to make sure all of our interactions aren't just Eagle Talk and aren't just talking real estate, but also like saying, you know what? Yes, this business is important, but what's very important is that I set time away from it. Because what are you working for? I just had lunch with a friend and we were talking about, business things that we want. And I was like, but who cares if we are millionaires and we can do this and do that if our home life sucks? Like, that's not a win. Our pastor actually just talked about how he told a story about how the son of Nike, the person who invented Nike, told his father, I'll never wear Nike, right? Because you built that business at the expense of knowing me. Mm-hmm. And again, who wants to get there? So in entrepreneurship, just having that, I dare to say work-life balance, but having times where you're like, yes, we're building something and I'm doing this, like kids, I'm doing this for you. Like kids, you tell your kids, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for you. But they get to become 20 and you don't even know them. So were you doing it for me, or were you, it just doesn't translate. So making those steps to prioritize the people in your life, I think is something hard when you're in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think another one that we kind of spoke on was your phone ringing on vacation.
Yeah, everybody want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Until you about to zip line and you get that 911 text.
Yeah. You gotta take it.
You gotta take it.
You on the harness. You got the thing hanging from you, and they're like, "Oh, unhook me,
One second.
Yeah, but I mean, with money on the line, sometimes that's how it be, man. And we've had numerous situations to where just mid-sentence, right? Yeah. And I'm like, damn, well, can I finish but I get it. I totally get it. Sometimes it's hard. It's even hard to understand and comprehend sometimes. And it's not like the client is more important than me, but you I don't even know how to word it. It's sometimes things are urgent, and other things, unfortunately, have to be put on pause for a couple minutes.
Now, I do think that, and I think we do a better job of it now, but like, I know for instance, when I first got into business, everything was urgent. Yeah. Right? Everything was like, I got to do this right now. And we had a situation the other night where I told Corey, I was like, you know what? Like, I had a deal in option. I received a repair amendment. It was like 9:00 at night. I was like, I'm going to tell my client about this tomorrow, right? Because we have 3 more days of option. It's 9:00. I know if I call them, we're going to discuss it. And right now I'm hanging out with y'all. Yeah. Right. So having that, having some sort of discernment about what needs your attention at that moment. But the reality is that sometimes you're going to be, have to put out a fire. And most entrepreneurs, until the goal is to put people in place to do those things for you. But as you're building, a lot of time you are the main contact as the problem solver. And we have to be available to solve problems. And I remember, Corey, do you remember that this one guy, he wanted to know about wholesaling real estate. He was so interested and whatever, but he was like, but my deal breaker is like, do you have to work on the weekends?
Yeah. His number would never make it into my phone.
Yeah.
Because he started out with like the wrong mentality. And no disrespect to him, I'm just not your guy. Yeah. We can't even speak on that level, because I'll proudly say it, if you can't like create damn near an 8th day of the week for something that you love and you're trying to build, then like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
And I'm not saying for the rest of your life, but you got to give it everything, that you have, especially with the time that you have.
Yeah, and having the flexibility to leverage.
Yeah, my garage door guy literally works from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. He gets off, he sleeps in his truck. And the only reason why I know this now, because he's done 4 garage doors, but he just did the Airbnb. Mm-hmm. He slept for 2 hours from 7 a.m. to 9. And he started his day. And I was like, dude, how many orders you got? I got to do 3 installs, and about 3 o'clock I can take another nap, But he been grinding like that for 3 or 4 years.
And then at one point he won't have to grind like
exactly.
that
Exactly.
Yeah. So, that's just kind of is what it is. But, sometimes when you have that like, I got to go do this. Like, okay, y'all go down to the pool. Let me go ahead and write this contract real quick, and I'll be there in a second. I mean, it happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah. Let's talk to a not so popular subject when it comes to entrepreneurship, which is growing pain.
Everybody want to be an entrepreneur, so you got to go through those growing pains.
Yeah, because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that, the conversation is definitely needed, but I think, kind of like you said last episode, is one of the things that keeps people from getting into entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Because of
you're gonna get uncomfortable.
Yeah, just how you gonna feel along the way, and it don't feel good sometimes.
Yeah, Glennis, we were talking about how, especially starting out, a lot of times you're the face for the business, because quite honestly, one or two things happens. Number one, either we can't afford to put people in place to be your customer service, to be your graphic designer, to be your photographer, or we are nervous to make that investment, right? In order to do those things. So a big part of Growing Pains is knowing that you're the front-facing person for your business, and as you are growing, how are you managing that? I remember thinking man, Lord, if I could just close one deal a month, that would be clutch. And then I found myself closing, double digits a month. Okay, I needed to hire somebody. I needed to put other people in place to help me manage that, and then getting to the point to say, okay, in order for me to service clients at that level that I want to, now I have to be okay with, sharing some of my commission and bringing on a team to support and coaching and things like that. So understanding that it's not always going to all feel good. And especially as you're growing and scaling your business, there are going to be some painful moments with that. And to expect them and not let that make you think, well, you know what, that's why I don't need to do this. I need to fall back.
Yeah, and I think I'm thinking about the deal I did last week. And it was interesting because, you kind of see it from both perspectives. But I was buying a Plano house. It was right around $400,000, and I have a private lender that typically lends 100%. But I have multiple deals out with him at that time. And he was like, yeah, I'll do the deal, but I'm only going to lend, I think it was $340. No, $360.
We like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, well, that's only 90%. He was like, yeah, because I know you got other deals going on that we need to get closed right now. But if you got $40,000 in your own money out there, you're gonna give me mine right back. And I was like, yeah, I totally get it, which makes sense. And that's the uncomfortableness and the growing pains, And he wasn't really trying to teach me a lesson, but what he was saying was the urgency that you have when it's yours. I want the urgency when it's mine.
Yeah.
And it was at first, I think I called you.
You was mad. No. He said it right now, I don't know that
I was mad.
Like, that's why.
I wasn't mad. I had to look at it as if it was mine.
Yeah. And
that's when I was like, okay, I get it. If he have, 360 out for 30 days, or if he had 360 out for 7 days, like which one would you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just saying that, about the growing pains and the stuff like that in business that you'll learn. And again, don't take it personal, because I'm grateful for the relationship. But needless to say, I performed and he got his money right.
Yeah, like you have to do what you have to do. And sometimes it doesn't. And with growing pains, sometimes it does not work out exactly the way you think.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
You go hire an assistant, spend time with her, and then she go tell you she going to drive Uber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying? You invest in something and it doesn't turn out to be what you thought, or it didn't solve the problem you thought it would solve, and now you might feel like you're back to the drawing board. So these are all things that just happen. And
let me interject, if I may, and this was based off a realtor you were dealing with last night. That y'all, y'all kind of going back and forth on the deal, and when you hung up, you kind of gave a woo-side moment, and I was like, but that's good though. And you was like, why? And I was like, because that's going to grow you. Yeah. Right. So not all growing pains won't be like a bad thing. It's going to grow you or stretch you in another area.
Yeah. And you know what? Okay. So we are going off on a tangent on growing pains, but this is something that I will tell you is that, in entrepreneurship, we didn't even plan this one, but in entrepreneurship, everybody want to be an entrepreneur until you have to have tough conversations all the time.
Yeah.
And that's something. The tough conversation might be about your pricing. The tough conversation might be about, what you need of a client. The tough conversation might be, if you, like in my case, the way Corey's talking about it, I don't have to look at like I'm going against another realtor, but if I am an agent representing my seller and my seller's interest, and they are representing their buyer's interest, sometimes we have to have some tough conversations because we're advocating, right? And, that doesn't always feel good, but the thing is, the more practice you have and the more where you don't psych yourself out and you're just like, look, I like the guy that Corey's talking about. We had a conversation the other day and I had to tell him, I said, look, let me just tell you something. I can 100% have this conversation with you. I don't have to be emotional about it. I am looking out for my client's best interest. This is what the contract says, and this is what we're going to stand on. And I can very well, like we were negotiating a repair amendment or whatever. And I was like, and if this doesn't work for your client, I completely understand. Or if it does, the fact that you kind of clap clap back at me because that's what had happened. He kind of clapped back. I let him know what you're doing is disrespectful. I don't appreciate it. It's not professional. However, I don't have to get my feelings involved, right? I just want to let you know that this is what the contract says. This is what my seller is willing to do. And if you decide not to move forward, God bless. And if you just do decide to move forward, I'm not going to be a little bitch to you throughout the rest of this transaction, right? Because I'm going to represent myself with professionalism, and I'm going to represent my seller at the highest level. And that was a tough conversation to have. 1 year real estate, Rosemary wouldn't have done. I probably wouldn't have been able to sleep, in fear of having that conversation. So you got to be ready to have these tough conversations and get uncomfortable as an entrepreneur.
I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm going to say it anyway, because that's just the mode that I'm in. And having that conversation, I think on the way back from Vegas, I started watching $1 Million Listing LA again. And ever since we've been back, I've been watching
He's watched all the episodes. By the way, any of the tag them, Josh.
Allman Brothers, they're the number one team in the country. Frederick Edmond is there.
Eagle Talk, y'all.
Yeah, but and one reason why it intrigues me, and I don't even sell the pretty stuff nowhere near you or them, but I'm curious to find out negotiating, whether it's a repair amendment or whatever it is, on a $50 million house in Malibu, or objections, multiple offer situations, different tactics, strategies, listing appointments for you, and just different people that show up to those type of properties.
Yeah, and people that got the balls to sell them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was just talking. Okay, this.
I don't know where it came from. I'm sorry.
I was just talking to a friend about tapping into luxury, and we just really talked about that. Sometimes realtors are intimidated to tap into a market where their paychecks wouldn't allow them to purchase yet. You heard me. I didn't say they could afford. I had to change myself. But sometimes we're hesitant. I remember it used to intimidate me to walk into Louis Vuitton because I couldn't afford nothing in there. And a lot of times you have people that will hold yourself back in entrepreneurship because you are looking to do something to service people who have reached the status or income or something that you haven't, and you got the sauce. Don't let that hold you back. But we need to educate ourselves to know how to have the conversation in those rooms, and when you need to advocate or defend or show your professionalism or prove your value, we got to be up for that challenge. Yeah. And I think oftentimes, because naturally most people want to shy away from conflict, we look at conflict as something bad. Conflict and being confrontational are two totally different things.
Right.
In life, we are going to encounter conflict,
right?
But it's how we approach and how we react to conflict, how we can be proactive, is going to make all the difference. And definitely that's why I always say, from as an entrepreneur or just really in life gets so much better when you come from a solution-based mindset, then, oh my God, I got a problem mindset.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I brought it up, because those guys are solving major problems on a lot of their deals. And it just puts me in a different mindset on even just my little deals. I won't say my little deals.
Don't be discounting your deals.
Well, I'm not discounting, but these cats, man.
Well, yeah,
some of the stuff that I saw them selling. I'm not discounting, but it's just wow, to be able to pull up knowing that you got to talk this guy out of a $80 million listing on 3 acres in Santa Monica. What does that what's going through your mind?
The first thing that's going through their mind is, I'm not talking you out of an $80 million listing. I'm showing my value to show you how I'm going to get your $80 million listing.
Yeah, or they wouldn't have got the call if. No, for sure. So I'm just bringing that up. I don't know how I got there, but I've been watching it every single day.
Well, because we're talking about tough conversations and problem solving,
and they have a lot of tough conversations. Yeah. So last but not least,
don't. Well, I have to change my mindset around this one. Okay. Tell them.
I don't know that I do.
We got to change our mindset.
It's a hard one for me.
We got to change our mindset.
We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, and
everybody want to be an entrepreneur till it's time.
So you got to pay them taxes.
You got to pay them taxes.
And that's when you get your Mickey Ficky anus toe off if you don't have the right CPA. Sometimes when you got the right CPA, it just hurt, man.
I mean, when you're profitable, it's just, and a lot of us, and I can only speak, Corey and I can only speak from our experience. We grew up in families that look to get something back from taxes, right?
Which I still don't understand.
Right. They look to get something back from taxes. So to have to pay, and like, how many of y'all, drop it in the chat, let us know. We know we're not alone. Share this episode. Like, tax time was where you got something back. It took us to be old enough to realize, like, if I'm getting something back, then I'm not in the right income bracket, right? And cutting a check is hard. It's hard cutting the IRS check. And this is why I said I had to change my mindset around it, because whether it's paying bills or hiring employees or any of your expenses, first of all, there's a cost of doing business. There's just like if you don't want to understand and have a cost of doing business, then it might not be for you to be in business. So there's a cost to doing business. And instead of being like, oh my God, I gotta pay taxes, I'm just like, Lord, thank you. Like, thank you that I have the resources, that you have blessed me with a business where I can pay taxes. Now, we don't want to pay more than we owe, though. So you need a good CPA. You need a tax strategist that can really help you examine your business, examine the laws, and see, what things that you are really paying for that you can put towards your tax liability. But it's all fun and games till you owe them 6 figures or more.
I'm just gonna say, y'all, I'm gonna be as open and honest as I can on Eagle Talk today. It just don't feel good. It don't feel. I mean, and you're right. We're grateful we're able to do it, and we got hit with a substantial tax bill, more than once.
And pray we do again.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If we owing, that means we making.
Yeah, but
thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, and I think that we're learning the importance of assets, owning more rental property, depreciation, and really having as you say, tax strategist that knows the law.
Yeah,
right.
That knows the law. Yeah. And we have to invest in that. Like, we actually have a meeting with him coming up to really, even hammer down, because income looks different than it has in previous years. So what else are we missing? Like, our businesses have grown this way. So that's all. You know what it is? It's real grown up stuff.
Yeah. and I don't give tips because I'm not real educated on taxes, but I will say this: pay it quarterly. If you can, pay it quarterly, because that one pot, man, that stings. So if you can, muster up the discipline. Yeah. To be able to pay your taxes. Yeah, that's really what it is.
For us, it wasn't a matter of paying it quarter, like having it. It's just doing it.
Yeah. But that subdues the pain just a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the best cadence. Yeah. All right, y'all. So there we have it.
We covered a lot in these two topics.
In these 2 episodes, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur until I hope that you enjoyed it. And this is what we would love for you, because Corey and I are always thinking about different topics. Coming up, we're going to sit down with different entrepreneurs. I'm bringing Shalina and Tanisha Lusk are going to come to the podcast. Okay. And then we have a special guest who's going to come, and she was inspired to start her business because she heard us kept saying, do it scared.
Who was that?
Tiffany Hedgeman of Space Lift, who space lifted our closet. Our cabinet. Okay. So we have some special guests coming up, and we are honestly, y'all, just committed, like we said, to just bring you content that y'all really care about.
Did she actually start a business after watching Eagles?
Yeah.
The pantry.
That's when she and I met. Like, we were kind of social media friends, and she called me. I probably still have the video, and was like, look, I just want to tell you that, you and Corey, listening to you say do it scared, has helped me to give me the courage. You reconfirmed something God told me to do. And this is a business that I want. So that's why she did our pantry complimentary, because she said that we helped start the business.
There you go, guys. This is why we do this.
Yeah. So And we also want to know what y'all want to hear.
Yeah.
So if you have any topics, anything that you would like us to discuss, we have a vast community of Eagles. So we can bring on financial advisors, travel agents, therapists, like whatever. But we want to make sure that we are delivering content that actually matters to you.
Yep. 2 great episodes back to back, y'all. We are coming. We're gonna get y'all heat all through the summer. It's gonna be hot, so we're gonna turn it up a little bit for y'all. But thank you guys for tuning in. Join the Facebook Team Lewis Eagle Talk.
Okay, Corey, I don't know what it is.
I gotta get it out.
Eagle Talk with Team Lewis.
Join the Facebook group Eagle Talk with Team Lewis. We are over 1,100 members now, trying to get to,
which is actually pitiful, y'all, because all of y'all should share, and we should be like at 5,000 people. But
it's okay. I mean, y'all tuning in. YouTube views are going up. Podcast views are definitely increasing.
Yep.
So that's a blessing, and we're just gonna, keep doing what we do.
Keep doing what we're doing. Okay, you all be blessed. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Bye.
Peace.